right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on Straight Talk, and this is going to be one. Now, the last time that I was on here, I was talking about how unqualified white boys are. They're not men, they're boys. They're not qualified to run nothing but their mouth. Even when they run their mouth, you hit them in it because they're not qualified to speak on anything. They're the worst criminals on the goddamn planet. They're the worst pedophiles on the damn planet. And this is not something I'm just making up. This is the actual fact. When I speak, I bring receipts. And this is what it's all about tonight. So tonight we're going to be covering, hey, Brother Willie, I really appreciate you being here. Like always, man. And, man, I just want to really, I was trying to find it. This video of this brother who was, he's our ancestor now. He died in the 90s. But after World War II, he came home with a uniform on, and, white folks didn't like that in America. And I think that was down in Alabama or Mississippi, one of them. And to make a long story short, his eye got gouged out with a baton by the sheriff of the town. And went to trial, all-white jury, within 15, 20 minutes, found not guilty. The man went blind. He was never, ever able to see his wife again, his kids again, and the sunrise and the sunset. So every time I see and hear about one of ours being killed, being beaten, it's worth all of them. I don't give a fuck, because the last time I was on here, I was talking about, hey, I'm done. I've been done since I was a little boy. And, going to a predominantly white school. And they're looking at me like, how are you a Jew, bitch? How the fuck are you a Jew? I already know my history. Like, oh, yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? You got to really know your history from which you come. You can't be hemming and hawing and stepping from foot to foot and side to side trying to please these motherfuckers. Fuck them. And when I said I was done now. There's no more. You can't tolerate these motherfuckers. They're the worst fucking people on the goddamn planet. All they've done was kill, crush, destroy, maim, blame, and complain. That's all they do. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing special about white folk. And they're not even white. That's the damning thing. They've been tricked into believing that they were white. They bleeped out niggas. That's it. And to be honest with you, they're the only niggas on the planet. They're called scientifically troglodyte nigger. N-I-G-E-R. Now, how you want to say that, it's on you. But the idea is the same, man. We can't afford this shit no more. And I am so glad to see that Africa, on February 26, 2026, it will be coming into effect. The unification of the United States of Africa. This is it. 80% of America depends on African resources and sources, or whatever the case may be. There's no more. All of the global south, all brown, black, and people, we're tired of these fucking animals. Oh my God, oh, you just remember, no, bitch, shut the fuck up. Let me explain. I'm going to bring this, I'm going to bring the receipts. We all know that the white man or the white boy has gone all around the world just fucking shit up. There's no more Transmanian people. Every last man, woman, and child was killed. The last men, they cut off his testicle set and used it as a tobacco pipe. What the fucking purpose of bombing the atolls out there in the Pacific where black people lived? They don't live there anymore because their water is so radioactive that they bombed it how many times? 1, twice, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63 fucking times. What's the point of that? Most recent, I ain't gotta go back that far. Most recent, over the last 5 years, ain't still counting. People are dropping dead still with the fucking vaccine. Over 150 million people died. Not counting the hundreds of millions that have been affected, and not counting the fact that you're not even you a human anymore. It changes your DNA, motherfuckers. Bill Gates, Fauci, all of you motherfuckers need to go. Stand up, black man, stand up, black woman, stand up, black people around the world and the global south. This is war. And we've already won, really. White folk went to sleep for the last 100 years, thinking that they're going to always be on top. No, baby, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. It don't work like that, white boy. You fucked up. And now you're about to find out. Economically destroyed, politically destroyed, spiritually destroyed, and physically destroyed. We're beating your ass. You got it coming. What goes around comes around. You reap what you sow. The sins of the father and mother are always visited upon their children. It is what it is. You just got to walk through that fire like we did with you motherfuckers. Walk through that bitch smiling. Because if we don't see you smiling, we're going to slap the shit out you. That's what that shit going to come out to be. We're tired. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you a little clip of a video that looks to be or purported to be a movie in the making, but it's not. It's an AI. But once I get through, that's going to be the last thing I'm going to be showing. It's called Caucasoid Nation. And when I tell you, man, that these motherfuckers ain't worth a dime, they ain't shit, they talk shit because they know they ain't shit, they know they ain't shit because they talk shit. That's what the fuck I mean. There's no if, there's no and, there's no but, there's no doubt. And I, Brother Willie, dude, man, I cannot wait. Man, I cannot wait for somebody in a big ass wannabe platform. What that bridge? What the hell is going on with my thing? Hold on. What that white boy from England? He got his own show. Big time white boy. Damn. But him, I don't give a fuck who it is. Whatever white boy, whatever white girl that want to have me on their show talking about my book with the white woman with the tail, motherfucker, I'm not going to let them slip and slide and talk shit. You know me by now. I'm not playing that fucking game. It's enough. It's enough. It's enough. It's enough. And we are tired of them acting like they did us a favor. They ain't did us no fucking favor. We civilized these motherfuckers 3 times. In Egypt, Greece, and Rome, and now after damn near $1,000. Damn near 1,000 years of ruling Europe, from 700 to 1492. Even really, that extends up to 1880 because we were fighting trying to get that shit back. But it wasn't white folks who kicked us out of Europe because we were running it and we were the kings and the queens of that time in that era. But it was our own. And when we can really understand that unity is the key, we can cuss and fight and do all that, but at the end of the day, we got to put that shit to the side because we got to know we can't allow these motherfuckers to get any kind of inch anywhere, shape, or form. It is not happening. We cannot afford that. The world cannot afford that. The universe cannot afford that. And the only people who can put this world back to peace instead of pieces is the black man and woman. We are the founders of every civilization on the planet. And the world is going to wake up to that. It's waking up now, but it's going to really wake up over the next year. Russia just eviscerated these motherfuckers, talking about all the gods and goddesses were black. And that the people of the Bible were black. They weren't motherfucking white. You feel where I'm going with this? Wake up. These motherfuckers are playing Wizard of Oz. Pull back the curtain, look them dead in the eye, and say bitch and slap the shit out of them. That's it. They doing this shit throughout all of Europe and starting in America and Canada. White folks are scared. They are converting to Islam. Like Islam going to say that. No, babe. It ain't happening like that, cuz. You know what I mean? And the last time I seen it was in Oslo, Norway, or Sweden, some one of those. And they had some Muslim brothers there. They're talking about, you motherfuckers ain't producing, you guys ain't got no baby, we're gonna outproduce you. And that's true. The vaccine chemically castrated these motherfuckers. And thank God, 85% of the people who took the vaccine were white. Not only getting off this motherfucker, but they can't produce. Not only that, their birth rate before this shit happened with the vaccine, it was only like 0.9. To maintain the population, you need 2.3. We are producing like 11 and 12. Mexican, 100. Cause man, I love it. You know I'm gonna bring it. I don't give a fuck no more. I never did anyway. But really, I'm done with this shit. And believe me, cuz really, and anybody out there listening to this show, you know I am going to be speaking up for our benefit, on our behalf. There's no company word for me with these motherfuckers at all. I'm not playing that fucking game. I don't give a fuck. I speak truth to power. I know that when I am honoring our ancestors, my mother and father most recently died, and going back hundreds of thousands of years. I got to. Because the only way to really get blessed is to bless the names of our ancestors. That's it. Unity is our thing. Without being unified, we get cursed as we have been up to this point. But now we're delineating. Now we're seeing the power of unity. And there's a black store that opened up. I can't remember where it was. Black folks are going. Now I can tell you, the National Guard, the FBI, if you motherfucker coming up in this whole black community like you guys did before, and destroying and killing and taking the properties of black folk, you're gonna fucking die. We shoot back, bitch. We're not playing that motherfucking game no more. We didn't play it then either. We didn't play it. Fuck the FBI if you guys are on the side of white supremacy. To be honest with you, the Department of Justice was created to fight for black folks. Now, the time has come. The end is near. It is here, Mr. White Boy. And there's nothing that's going to save your motherfucking funky asses. You know it. I know it. And the whole world knows it. And Trump would say, you know it, I know it. And the whole world knows it. Man, bitch, fuck you. But tonight we're going to be covering all of that. But first I wanted to, let me go into the share screen and share with you what, and to share with you what I found on X. And here we go. So, this is a t-shirt of Charlie Kirk, the most racist motherfucker that I know in the present moment, or was in the present moment. Take a good look at that. This is coming from my boy on X the Black, Tucker Carlson. And you know, you probably heard about Trump sucking off Bill Clinton, or whoever Bubba is. And here, white privilege must be all those riches we stole from India. Look, the total and present day money that was it wasn't stolen. Let me take that back. I apologize. It wasn't stolen. I've done 2 videos about this, about how the two richest black families in India who gave away their wealth out of jealousy and disunity. The brother wanted to undo the power of the other brother in India. He ended up giving all of that all of that inroads into the wealth of India to Great Britain when it became less black, all black to white, and then that initiated the kingdom of Britain. So it wasn't white folks who got the money, who got smart, who got this, that, and the other. It was the fact. It was the fact that somebody black. What's the name of that guy's name? Right on the tip of my tongue. That they did it. That he did it. He fucked himself and went broke. And not only that, it gave way to the opium trade. Now, this is what is going on in the present moment. Don't you ever think that China don't forget what the white boy has done to their own people. Hooking them up on that opium, making hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, and bringing that back to America to whitewash it off. And making it legitimate, establishing universities, colleges, museums, and all of that, and putting their name in light. Astor, the Roosevelt, the Carnegie, all of these people who are a part of that, and the list goes on and on and on. Do you really think that white folks know how to maintain shit? No, they don't. They will always fuck it up. They will always fuck it up, and fuck it up again. Because they don't know anything. They don't have anything. Everything that they got from us as a people. And you got to understand that. Hold on. And that's it. These two brothers in Marion, Indiana in 1930, August. I don't know what day. Man, the more I think about our people who harm babies fed to alligators or crocodiles, man, see, I'm not going to forgive that, and I'm not going to forget it. I'm just not. And look at the faces of these motherfuckers standing there and pointing and shit. Fuck these motherfuckers, man, because they don't give a fuck. They never have. They have something within them that is inhuman. These people are animals. Oh my God! Oh, you just being a reverse racist. Now shut the fuck up. They just stopped eating us in the 1970s, motherfucker. They still eating us. And the most recent one that I heard about was in the 90s. I don't give a fuck if it was 2 or 3. Only 2 or 3. That's one too many. I digress. Let's keep it moving. Now, you talking about white folks getting down on black food because they don't know how to cook? Here we go. Let's listen to it.
Call my mama and boy. But then when seasoning tastes like, God damn! I'm like, oh my God. Why you fucking that shit up? Fucking that shit up. Okay, we dead on. We dead on. Why the fuck is everything so fucking wrong? Why the fuck is everything better than that? That's absolutely. Yo, you just said it. Potato salad. It's so good. Yes. This is the food. This is too good. This is the birthday. And that's the regular place.
Yes, motherfucker gonna eat the plate too? Shit. And here we go with Charlie Kirk. Man, these motherfuckers think, hold on. These motherfuckers think that they can talk shit and everybody just following. I'm white and I say so. That's not happening no more. That's not happening no more. And I can honestly tell you, they're going to be killing themselves, committing suicide once they really know where their thoughts of being white come from. They are really going to start committing suicide when they realize and wake up to the fact that they ain't shit. They don't have a culture. They don't have a language. They don't have nothing that they can say is this. It all belongs to black folks. And when they get to the round, and get around to the fact that the real Jews are black, they already know. That ain't no goddamn secret. I'm just saying. When it's all out on the motherfucking table, all of the praise, all of the glory, all of the love will coming back to us. It got to. Truth will always prevail over a lie. Good always wins over evil. Right always wins over wrong. It never fails. And all we got to do is just stand still, delineate, and don't say shit. Am I lying? No. Because I know what's coming. Africa and the global south is united now. Do you understand what that means? You attack one, we attack all. You attack all. The fact that Trump is talking about he's going to bomb, he ain't going to bomb shit, he just talking. But if he bomb Nigeria, all of Africa is on America's back and up its ass. You're talking about sanctions and tariffs and all of this shit. You're going to hit them first, economically, because America, 80% of America depends on Africa. It's over, you guys. You do understand where I'm coming from? We just blew out and blew up and sank a United Nations warship out there in the Ethiopian Ocean, which is now called the Atlantic Ocean. We told the United States government warships out there in the Indian Ocean, get the fuck out of here. They left. There's no more of this shit. The black man is back on top, but we ain't giving it back. We ain't going there no more. And the fact that all of Africa, 1.5 billion people, is now a one government, united with that economy of about $30 trillion, not even counting motherfuckers. The global south as a whole, and that the Afro gold, I don't want to say currency, the coin, the Afro gold coin, AGLD, is the most powerful coin going. It is backing all of the currency that will be the number one currency in Africa and the world. It is backing, it is the foundation of that currency. And you know what else? All the BRICS are going to be using the payment system of Africa. And all of its resources as a unit, unity as a unit, they're going to be flooding into Africa. So no, the white boy done. They know this shit. They already know this shit. There's nothing new about this shit. It's over for them. A new day is dawning. And the New World Order, happy to say, is black. It's black. The same way that Angola did Portugal when the oil money was coming in, and after being ruled by Portugal for 400 years or something like that. Now Portugal is the playground of the rich and famous of Angola. And that's all what it needs. That's all what it's all about, money. Because when you have money and plenty of it, party generation comes in. Let that sink in. The richest continent on the planet is not giving up its resources anymore. It's not shipping it out and bringing it back, paying for the finished product. It's not doing that anymore. Hold on. Let me see if this is here. Hold on. Okay. And hold on. Let me go all the way up. It was the last thing that I played. If I can't find it, then they just. Oh, here it is. Is that it? That in, a 700-year-old ancient African technology. I got that. But what happened is that, hold on. Let me go back here. What happened was they found an old, I can't, damn it, I hate that when I accidentally take something off. But anyway, in an ancient, in one of the pyramid, they found a machine, you guys, that goes back 3,000 years. We're not the most advanced civilization known to man up to today, which is November the 18th, 2025. There is nothing new under the sun. Nothing. So hold on. Let me get out of here and let me go back. So what I really want you guys to understand is that we are the very foundation of the world. We are the black universe filtered down into human form. There's nobody better than us. And you got to realize that. And you got to know your history. You got to know your people. You got to know you. Because once you get to know you, you wake up to realize that you are the God that the world worships. Even Putin is saying that shit and saying that shit. There's nothing new under that motherfucker. We are the very essence of life itself on this planet. So, since I got through the X, let's get it on and find out what's really going on. This is a 700-year-old ancient African technology bunker discovered by African Union. Let's get at it.
Yeah, Supreme African Network. They said Africa's past was simple. They said our ancestors built huts, hunted animals, and waited for Europeans to bring knowledge. But every time a shovel touches African soil, the truth comes out, Ariel. This continent was a laboratory of genius long before colonization, and the latest discovery by the African Union has shocked even the experts who thought they had seen everything. Today, Supreme African Network takes you deep into a story that was never supposed to leak. A 700-year-old underground engineering bunker has reportedly been uncovered by AU archaeologists and heritage investigators after a set of satellite scans revealed strange formations beneath a remote hillside in southern Africa. Inside that bunker were tools, symbols, and architectural designs that challenge the entire narrative Africa has been taught about itself. Let us open this vault together. Part 1. The discovery that started with a glitch. The discovery did not begin with a shovel. It began with an error. According to insiders inside the AU Department of Heritage Protection, the first hint came from a satellite scan conducted earlier this year. Engineers analyzing soil patterns noticed that a hillside in a little-known region showed geometric anomalies. Not natural, not colonial, older, symmetrical, deliberate. At first, analysts thought it was an old mine shaft, but the angles were too perfect, the tunnels too parallel, the cavities too structured. When the AU sent a ground team with seismic imaging tools, the results came back shockingly. An underground chamber almost 40 meters long, built with stone precision matching the style of Great Zimbabwe and Mapungubwe, but deeper, more complex, more engineered. This was not a burial site, not a shrine, not a simple storage pit. This was a facility, an ancient African engineering bunker. Part 2. African engineering is not new. Before going underground with the AU team, let us remind ourselves of something important. Africa has always been a center of scientific knowledge. Great Zimbabwe engineers cut stone with no mortar and built structures that have survived storms for a millennium. Nubian architects designed water channels and dams that modern hydrologists still study. The Mali Empire produced astronomical calculations recorded in handwritten manuscripts. Ethiopian engineers carved entire churches out of single rocks. The Benin Kingdom worked metal so precisely that European blacksmiths wrote letters in shock. So when the AU discovered a 700-year-old bunker, the surprise was not that Africa built something advanced. The surprise was that this one remained hidden for centuries. Part 3. Enter the bunker. According to insiders who were part of the early entry team, the chamber was accessed through a collapsed tunnel that had to be stabilized. What they found inside was breathtaking. First, the architecture. Massive stone blocks cut with near-perfect alignment. a ventilation system embedded into the walls, channeling air from the surface, using a design similar to ancient Egyptian cooling towers. Subtle carvings showing geometric patterns consistent with African proto-mathematics taught long before European textbooks arrived. Second, the layout. 3 main sections: a primary hall, a secondary archive chamber, and a sealed room containing metallic objects. The air was dry. The structure was intact. It had been protected by the earth for over 700 years. One AU engineer told our insider anonymously, "This is not primitive work. This is engineering discipline." Part 4, the tools that changed everything. The secondary chamber contained something even more astonishing. Dozens of early mechanical tools preserved by the cool underground climate. Among them, carved stone molds used for casting metal, copper and iron chisels that still held their shape, a set of wheels and axles believed to be part of a lifting device, fragments of a pulley system, and a series of circular metal plates engraved with triangular patterns. These are not mysterious alien technologies. These are early mechanical systems built by African engineers long before colonial industrial equipment ever touched our soil. One item stood out. A carved wooden cylinder with grooves that suggested may have been used for water lifting or early mechanical rotation. Historians are already calling it an African proto-machine. The most shocking thing, these designs do not match known technologies from the colonial period. They match technology Africa developed by itself. Part 5, the sealed room. According to insiders, AU archaeologists were hesitant to open the sealed chamber, fearing damage. After internal debate, it was opened under controlled conditions. Inside, they found large clay jars, stone tablets with carvings, metallic rods bundled with rope, a circular stone table with mathematical markings, and a wall painting showing a group of African engineers working around a device. The painting is what shook the team. It depicted Africans collaborating on a mechanical system, recording measurements, and using tools that resemble early scientific instruments. This was not a burial room, not a shrine, not a symbolic art gallery. It was a workshop, a protected, underground, centuries-old African research facility. Part 6. Why was it underground? Historians inside the AU believe the bunker was hidden underground for protection. Africa has a long history of preserving knowledge from invaders, raiders, and external threats. During the Mali Empire, manuscripts were buried to protect them. During wars, kingdoms hid gold artifacts in underground chambers. In Ethiopia, churches were carved underground to avoid destruction. This bunker fits the same defensive logic. Protect knowledge, protect engineering, protect innovation. Hide it from those who would destroy or steal it. Our ancestors knew the value of science. They knew the danger of exposure. So they built a bunker. Part 7. WHO built it. The bunker may have been built by an advanced Southern African civilization connected to Great Zimbabwe or Mapungubwe-era engineers. Both were known for precision stonework, long-distance trade, iron and gold metallurgy, mathematical knowledge, architectural mastery. The bunker's date, roughly 700 years old, fits perfectly within the timeline of Africa's most scientifically sophisticated kingdoms. The idea that Africa was technologically primitive collapses the moment these facts are placed next to each other. This bunker is not an exception. It is proof of what Africa was before colonial rewriting. Part 8. Why the EO kept it secret. According to insiders, the AU did not rush to announce the discovery publicly. Why? Because once again, foreign academics would fly in and try to take control of the narrative. Several reasons were discussed internally. Protect the site from looting, prevent foreign governments from claiming influence, ensure African researchers lead the analysis, prepare proper documentation before public release, avoid political interference from global powers. The AU remembers history well. Too many African discoveries have been taken, renamed, or misrepresented. This time, Africa will not lose the story. Shash, Part 9, The Global Implications. The discovery challenges every colonial-era textbook that painted ancient Africa as technologically inferior. It exposes how much knowledge was erased. It proves African civilizations were builders, scientists, and engineers. And it raises difficult questions. How many more bunkers exist? How much was destroyed? How much was stolen? How far did African engineering advance before disruption? The world is not ready for the answers. Part 10. Takunda's closing. This discovery is more than archaeology. It is a message to every African child born into a world that taught them their ancestors were passive, simple, and dependent. A 700-year-old engineering bunker says otherwise. Our ancestors were scientists. Our ancestors documented knowledge. Our ancestors built systems. Our ancestors engineered solutions. Our ancestors innovated under pressure. And they hid their brilliance underground because they knew the storm that was coming. Today, that storm has passed. Today, Africa is rising again, and the ground is giving back what it protected. Let this discovery remind us Africa is not stepping into the future. Africa is returning to its rightful place, a continent of genius, a continent of builders, a continent whose past was buried but never dead. This is Supreme Africa Network. This is Takunda Mabika, unbrainwashed, unafraid, and Africa's forgotten knowledge is waking up.
There it is. Now this one says China offered Secret Service to run AfriNet. Now as you may know, we have AfriGo, AfriNet, and a whole lot of other things that are a part of the machinery of control that Africa is using to gain control and to keep control in this. I'm made to nail it down. It ain't going no motherfucking way. And nobody can do shit unless we tell them. It's okay to do it. If you don't have permission from the black man, the black woman, black people, you can hang that shit up because it ain't happening. Period, white boy. I'm just here to tell you what it's really about. So let's go.
China offered secret servers to run AfriNet. AU said no, by Takunda Mabika, Supreme Africa Network. They said the next global war would not be fought with bullets. It would be fought with data. Today, we enter the battlefield. Africa refuses to surrender. Across the continent, quiet meetings, encrypted memos, and classified technical reports have revealed a story African citizens were never meant to hear. According to insiders inside the AfriNet engineering team, China allegedly offered to supply a large cluster of high-capacity servers to help run the early-stage AfriNet backbone. But the African Union, after weeks of analysis, internal debate, and cyber risk assessments, said no. Not because China is the enemy, not because Africa wants to isolate itself, but because AfriNet is the continent's future, and no foreign nation will hold its operating keys. This is a Supreme Africa Network exclusive. Let us step inside the shadows. Part 1. The offer. It began innocently, the way all diplomatic technology partnerships begin. A quiet technical delegation from a major Asian power arrived in Addis Ababa for what was publicly described as a routine digital cooperation meeting. But behind closed doors, according to our insiders, the delegation presented something far more significant. A proposal to provide powerful server racks, cloud infrastructure components, encrypted data routing systems, and cyber monitoring tools. The pitch was polished and attractive. Financing would be easy, delivery would be fast, installation and maintenance would be handled by foreign engineers. The price would be far below market rates. On paper, it sounded like a gift. In geopolitics, nothing is ever a gift. AfriNet is Africa's plan for a sovereign digital network designed to reduce dependence on foreign internet infrastructure, foreign data centers, foreign routing systems, and foreign surveillance pathways. That makes it one of the most strategic projects ever attempted on the continent. So when a major global power suddenly volunteered to supply the deepest layer of that infrastructure, alarms began to ring inside the technical wing of the AU. Engineers know what politicians sometimes forget. Control the servers, control the network. Control the network, control the future. Part 2. Engineer Zola sounds the first alarm. Our first insider, Engineer Zola, has worked with the AfriNet pilot teams from the early days. Soft-spoken, precise, and allergic to political noise, she deals only in technical facts. And the first red flag came from her desk. She studied the server specifications. They were powerful, modern, energy efficient. But something was off. Firmware access was limited. Root-level controls were locked behind proprietary systems. Some diagnostics could only be run using external tools. Certain routing logs were encrypted in ways that bypassed AU standards. In cybersecurity language, that means you can use the system, but you cannot fully see what the system is doing. Engineer Zola did not accuse anyone of wrongdoing. She simply wrote a line in her internal report, transparency insufficient at core layers. Inside the AU, that is the equivalent of sounding a fire alarm. Part 3. The ghost of the old data scandal. There was another issue quietly discussed among senior officials. Years ago, a major African institution faced allegations that foreign-built servers inside its headquarters were sending data to overseas locations. The claims were never publicly confirmed, never publicly denied, and the entire incident dissolved in diplomatic fog. But inside the halls of power, people remember. The AU has since built its own data center. African cybersecurity teams have grown stronger. And the lesson remains carved into stone. If someone else builds your digital house, they may keep a copy of the keys. So when the new server offer arrived, the older generation of AU diplomats looked at each other with a familiar suspicion. Some mistakes are too expensive to repeat. Part 4. Analyst Tao connects the global pattern. The second insider to raise concerns was Analyst Tao, a specialist in data flows, cyber influence operations, and digital sovereignty. He approached the issue not as an engineer, but as a geopolitical analyst. Tao mapped the offer onto a global pattern. Countries provide digital infrastructure. Countries gain silent influence. Countries observe traffic, trends, and political mood. Countries shape outcomes without being seen. He studied how other nations have handled similar offers. Asian countries turned down foreign-built data centers. South American states recently rejected foreign cloud partnerships. Even Europe blocked certain telecom equipment for security reasons. Tao's conclusion was calm but heavy. If AfriNet is built on foreign servers, it may never be fully African. His report was circulated quietly to the AU Cyber Council. It did not take long for the debate to escalate. Part 5. MS Lumo reveals the final problem. The third insider, Ms. Lumo, one of the continent's top satellite and cyber specialists, found something everyone had missed. She discovered that the proposed servers would route a portion of their internal updates through an external data relay located outside Africa. That relay would handle firmware updates, security patches, and system diagnostics. This meant every major update, every patch, every system improvement would pass through a foreign-controlled channel. That is not spying. That is dependency. Ms. Lumo's message to the AU was simple. AfriNet cannot depend on external updates for its brain. A continent of 1.4 billion people cannot outsource its soul. That was the moment the AU's internal mood shifted. Part 6. Africa says no, quietly. There was no press conference, no chest thumping, no public showdown. The AU simply sent a quiet diplomatic response. The AfriNet infrastructure will be built and controlled on African terms. Inside the AfriNet engineering hub, the decision was met with relief. Africa had chosen sovereignty over convenience. And let us be honest, convenience is temptation. Sovereignty is discipline. Part 7. The global reaction. Although the AU never announced the rejection, diplomatic whispers travel faster than emails. In Asian capitals, there was mild surprise. In Washington, quiet satisfaction. In Europe, strategic curiosity. In Africa, a rare sense of confidence. For once, Africa did not fall into the trap of choosing between global powers. Africa simply chose Africa. This is what digital adulthood looks like. Not aligning with the East, not aligning with the West, but aligning with African interests first. Why China even made the offer. Let us be balanced and analytical. China's offer may not have been malicious. China has been a major builder of African telecom networks. China leads global server manufacturing. And Chinese companies dominate low-cost digital infrastructure. It is possible the offer was simply business. It is possible the offer was strategic. It is possible the offer was diplomatic theater. Africa does not need to assume the worst. Africa simply needs to protect itself. The decision to reject the servers was not hostility. It was maturity. Part 9. The bigger picture. Data is the new gold. AfriNet is not just a tech project. It is Africa's shield. A defense system against foreign surveillance, manipulation, data mining, and political influence. In the coming years, whoever controls African data will control African elections, African markets, African youth opinions, African military coordination, African financial systems, African artificial intelligence models. This is why the AfriNet decision matters. It is not a server story. It is a sovereignty story. Part 10, Takunda, closing. So what does this leak teach us? It teaches us that Africa is learning to navigate a world where every major power wants a piece of its digital future. It teaches us that African engineers are no longer taking instructions blindly. It teaches us that African institutions remember past lessons. It teaches us that Africa is tired of being a digital colony. The rejection of foreign servers is a small step, but small steps build nations. AfriNet must be African built, African coded, African secured, African controlled. This continent will no longer hand its digital spine to anyone. Not for convenience, not for discounts, not for promises. This is Supreme Africa Network. This is Takunda Mabika, unbrainwashed, unafraid, and Africa's data will never kneel again.
All right. So now we are here, ladies and gentlemen. There's no doubt in my mind about taking over. There's none. I am 100% believe and I 100% know that the black man is back on top. We just gonna take it over because it rightfully belongs to us and in our hands. And the world is out of balance. And the only people who can put it back in balance with Ma'at is the creators, the descendants of the creators of Ma'at. And, I talked about the payment system before, and we're going to go into that right now. I'll be right back.
And of course, Western media had almost zero coverage of something that's going to change the future of global financial markets. The BRICS organization successfully launched a new payment system that will allow 185 countries around the world the ability to get a trade in Chinese currency and avoid using the US dollar altogether. Now, I've been covering the rise of BRICS for several years now, and it's incredible to see the momentum this organization is having, but most importantly, the interest from countries around the globe. Everywhere from Africa to Latin America, the Middle East to Southeast Asia, the vast majority of countries of...
Now this, if I can take a minute, all of this, including Russia, without Australia, is the global south versus the West, or white folk. And more countries of the global south is going to be included within the BRICS. Are you feeling what I'm saying?
Around the world are pro-BRICS and want to escape a world dominated by the US dollar and the threat of US government sanctions and globally. And this is not just me saying. Top Western news outlets like Bloomberg have published forecasts showcasing how BRICS Plus will dominate the world's GDP in the future. By 2050, the G7 will control only 18% of the world's GDP, while BRICS will control just under 50%. These stats are remarkable, and it's why Bloomberg is sounding the alarm bells and publishing stories warning that BRICS is getting increasingly hard to ignore. I mean, Americans are getting desperate for the G7 when one of its key members, France, is now considering inviting China's Xi Jinping to its annual meeting in France next year. I have no doubt she will accept the invitation, because why would he? China is at the center of BRICS growth, and most importantly, the Chinese currency has been exploding in popularity, with more countries taking on RMB loans today than at any point in history. And this is a fascinating development, because for years we've been told that renminbi could never go global, since it's not a fully convertible currency like the US dollar. For years, financial experts have told us that the US dollar will always be king because of its status as the world reserve currency. So when you look at the data, it's possible to see how fast China's currency is closing the gap. Over the past 5 years, Chinese banks have quadrupled the amount of RMB loans, deposits, and bond investments they hold overseas, now exceeding 3.4 trillion renminbi, equivalent to about $480 billion. This surge shows just how quickly China is expanding the RMB's presence in global finance. Last month, the Bank for International Settlements released a new report estimating that overseas bank lending in RMB to developing countries rose by $373 billion in the past 4 years. And this is why China's role in BRICS is so important, as developing countries not only China, but China's currency for their future. In the past 2 months, we've seen multiple African countries, including Kenya, Angola, and Ethiopia, switch their loans from US dollars to Chinese renminbi. Indonesia and Slovenia recently announced plans to issue renminbi bonds, and last month, Kazakhstan's Development Bank sold a 2 billion renminbi offshore bond at a yield of just 3.3%. Again, none of these stats are on the front page of Western news because the majority of them are located in the global south and outside the United States' sphere of influence. But once you remove yourself from the Western media bubble, you'll realize the majority of the world holds a much different viewpoint on China. Most countries in the global south, and specifically in Africa, are eager to engage with China. Earlier this summer, at the height of Donald Trump's global tariff war, China made an unprecedented move no one saw coming and signed a zero-tariff trade agreement with 53 nations in Africa. The deal is monumental because never before have we witnessed a rising superpower like China secure the coordinated effort of an entire continent in a comprehensive plan to reshape global governance. But here's where things get interesting, because it's not just developing countries in Africa signing these deals with China. Remember earlier last month when Donald Trump flew to Malaysia, Japan, and Korea for meetings with various leaders? Trump and the U.S. government wanted to project American power and influence in the region. And of course, the White House was quick to report Trump's visit was a major success. But here's the story you probably have not heard. Less than 24 hours after Trump left Southeast Asia, the region collectively upgraded its free trade pact with China. This is important to understand because it's actually ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which is China's #1 trading partner. Last year, the economic bloc of 11 Southeast Asian countries conducted over $771 billion of trade with China, and Singapore's Prime Minister, Lawrence Wong, had this to say about the region's new trade deal with China. The upgrade will further reduce trade barriers, strengthen supply chain connectivity, and unlock opportunities in future growth areas. Translation: Donald Trump isn't winning the trade war. Instead, countries around the world want to move towards a more reliable and stable partner, which so far in 2025 has proven to be China. 2 days after Trump left Asia, Indonesia raised over $842 million through the first ever sale of Chinese yuan bonds. These yuan-denominated bonds are called dim sum bonds and refers to bonds written in Chinese currency but sold outside mainland China to offshore investors. But here is what makes this story remarkable. Indonesia isn't borrowing in US dollars. Instead, they chose to borrow in Chinese renminbi, and global investors absolutely flooded in. The Indonesian government offered 6 billion yuan worth of bonds, but investors placed orders for 18 billion yuan, 3 times the amount. This just shows you how bullish international investors are on Indonesia's economy, but also how comfortable they are holding Chinese currency as an investment. And that's the main message I want you to understand about this global shift in finance. About a decade ago, nobody wanted RMB bonds, but today, countries are funding their infrastructure projects using Chinese money. And most importantly, investors are lining up and actively buying Chinese renminbi bonds. When we zoom out and look at the global picture of what this really means, it's actually quite simple. China is becoming the financial anchor of Asia, and every time a major country issues government debt renminbi and not US dollars, China's currency gets one step closer to becoming a true global alternative to the US dollar. To show you what I mean, just look at this chart from Swift, which shows the renminbi share of global trade finance has quadrupled over the past 3 years to 7.6% in September, making it the second most used currency in trade finance after the US dollar. When you look at this chart, the trend is unmistakable. China's renminbi is exploding in global use. Back in 2016, cross-border RMB payments were almost non-existent, but over the past 5 years, quarterly transactions on China's KIPS network have surged to nearly 13 trillion yuan every single quarter. KIPS stands for China's Cross-Border Interbank Payment System and processes more than 52 trillion yuan. That's nearly $12.7 trillion worth of transactions every year, accounting for 58% of all of China's cross-border flows. Even more impressive, the network now connects 4,800 banks across 185 countries. Just last month, China and South Africa, both key members of the BRICS alliance, launched the first ever BRICS loan in Chinese yuan, marking the 2 countries' first ever financing project conducted entirely in the Chinese currency. The funds will be directed towards development projects across Africa, focusing on infrastructure, energy, manufacturing, water management, and education. And honestly, this is why more countries in the global south are interested in working with China. No country on earth has developed as fast and proficiently in the past 40 years as China, and many developing countries would like to follow in their footsteps and modernize their countries in the same fashion. But once again, it's not just developing countries. Fresh after Trump's visit to Korea, the Korean president met with China's Xi Jinping and signed a new currency swap agreement worth 400 billion Chinese yuan, worth more than $49 billion. The deal between the Bank of Korea and the People's Bank of China will be in place for 5 years, and once again, allow China and Korea to conduct trade in their respective currencies and avoid the US dollar usage altogether. Right now, more than another 13 international trade deals are settled in Chinese renminbi, but with the new BRICS payment system, we are only going to see this trend continue to rise, and less transactions around the world made in US dollars. For the global south, this is a major win, and the reason I bring you this update now is because studying geopolitics will help you understand market trends and become a better investor. And I want to transition into the investing portion of today's video and give you an update on a company I profiled earlier this year called Vizsla Silver. Take a look at what this stock has done this year alone, up nearly 158% year to date. A lot of you have written to me about how well that company has performed. Well, the same team that helped put Vizsla Silver together is now going after copper, one of the most important critical minerals in the world today. The new company is called Vizsla Copper, trading on the Canadian market under the symbol VCU and the US market under VCUFF. And if you're interested in geopolitics, de-dollarization, and critical minerals are reshaping our world, this is the story you're going to want to pay attention to. Because right now, every government is talking about the same three things: energy security, supply chain security, and securing critical minerals at home, not from overseas rivals. Copper is at the center of it all because you can't build EVs, charging stations, data centers, or new power grids without huge amounts of copper. And the West is suddenly realizing that relying on foreign supply is a serious strategic risk. And that's where Vizsla Copper and their latest deal come in. The company just announced the acquisition of the Palmer Project, an advanced stage copper, zinc, silver, gold project in southeast Alaska. This is an exciting mine location sitting in a proven belt that already hosts major operations like Greens Creek and Kensington. But here are the key points you need to know. First, the resource is already big. When you combine the indicated and inferred categories, Palmer holds about 17 million tons of material with a 3% copper equivalent grade, which is considered high grade in today's mining world. Number two, the drill results are impressive. Some of the latest holes hit long intervals of massive sulfide, carrying strong copper and zinc grades, plus bonus silver and gold. These are the kind of numbers geologists love. And third, the project is de-risked. More than $116 million have already been invested into the Palmer project, and as a result, it already has access roads, key permits, and existing infrastructure in place and ready to scale. In other words, Vizsla Copper isn't starting from scratch. They're stepping into an advanced project in a strategic U.S. jurisdiction at a time when Washington is openly talking about the need to onshore critical minerals. The Palmer project has even received direct support from the White House. The company just announced a non-broker financing of up to 25 million Canadian, and the plan is to use that capital to aggressively explore and expand the resources at Palmer in Alaska, continue drilling other projects in British Columbia, Canada, and cover the acquisition cost and general working capital. Now behind all of this is a team with a very real track record of success. You have Craig Perry, Chairman and CEO of Vizsla Copper, who is also a co-founder of Inventa Capital and a founding director of NextGen Energy. I actually had the pleasure of speaking with Craig on the phone to learn firsthand about this deal, and it's incredible what he and his team are doing on the project. I always love companies run by CEOs with a great track record, and Craig has one of the most successful resumes in the mining industry for the last 25 years. But if you were one of my subscribers who took advantage and bought Vizsla Silver earlier this year, you definitely want to research more about Vizsla Copper and see if it deserves a spot in your portfolio today. Please contact your own financial planner for more advice before making any investments, and please do your own research. Invest responsibly, and as always, understand the geopolitics behind the ticker symbol. Everyone, I want to thank you all for your continued support, and I look forward to seeing you all in our next video soon. But one of the biggest...
Let me give my opinion about that, because I don't know about the yuan and China and all the hubbub, or whatever it said, the excitement of China. From what I've seen about China, it's going down the drain. Just based on the videos that I've done about China before and what's going on, and tens of thousands of people are unemployed and graduating from top universities in China and not being able to find a job, and doing TikTok videos and Uber and everything. They got high degrees, man. So I don't see how China is fitting into and is above Africa. The focus is Africa. The United States of Africa is going to take place on February the 26th, 2026. America and the world and Europe as a whole is trying to stop AfroGold, AGLD, not China. Now, whether they're trying to throw it off, trying to make it look like something else, I don't know. But the main player of the global South is Africa. All of its resources are backing that currency or that monetary global system that they have in place now. And they're making it known that the global South will be a big part of what is going on and taking control back. We have control of all of the 7 seas, not China. China can't fuck with America like that. China can't blow up a United Nations war machine, a warship like Africa did. Can't tell America's warship to get the fuck out of the Indian. Are you fucking mad at them? So no, I don't see that. Now, on top of and the main currency now and in the future is Africa. Now, to turn my focus on XRP and Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going away. It takes like 15 minutes for the transaction to go through with XRP and stablecoin, but the main one is XRP. It takes a fraction of a second for settlement to go through. And the blockchain is all on blockchain. Now, I just seen a couple of days ago about a brother talking about XRP and what that means and how they're going to be bringing in real world assets, meaning everything is going to be on the blockchain that you can buy into like you're buying stock. So let's just say, I don't know, a bridge or not just any bridge. What's the name of framing bridge? Or whatever the case may be. You'll be able to buy into that with the blockchain. So it'd be as if you're buying into what they're going to be having on the blockchain, real world assets, whatever that may be. And the fact that America's debt of $38 trillion is over with. It's going to be a reset of the American government and the dollar, which means if you don't get your ass up and start thinking, start moving your money, cash, hard-earned cash, to silver or gold or diamond or something that can weather the storm that is coming, 1929 is going to happen again in 2029. So if you're not prepared, you're going to really, really get fucked. I'm telling you, get your ass up, get busy, get moving, think your way out your shit. Or you don't have to do shit. You can do and be what you're doing and do and be right now. Nothing. And you're going to find out the hard way that your dollar, let's say a dollar worth $1 now, it's going to be worth about 10 cents. They're going to revalue the dollar. They're going to reset the currency throughout the world. Now, from what I'm understanding, America has about 6 to 8 billion tons of gold. That's not enough to cover the dollar. But Africa has well over 20 tons of gold. And growing because they're finding gold and platinum and all kind of shit. Now remember, Gaddafi was talking about this shit a long time ago. If you kill me, you'll be opening the door to all of hell for all of eternity. Now look at it. He said that Africa will be the main power and center of world trade and policies, regulations, and laws that will be coming out. Don't hate the game, hate the player, play the game and play the player. Or pay the price for being stupid. Pay the price for being unprepared. I'm here to tell you that the world governments are being reset as I speak. And it is a slow kill. It's like boiling a frog. The frog don't see shit, don't feel shit until it's too late. Y'all getting slow rolled. But I digress. Let's move on to the next one. And this is where white U.S. soldiers make white supremacy is the root cause. White supremacy is an overreaction to black supremacy. I've been saying this for I don't know how fucking long. White folks hate us because of what we did to them. Ain't that what they did? They didn't do shit to us. We did it to ourselves. There were more white folks taken into slavery and throughout the world and North Africa than white folks did us. They did not send us into slavery. It was our own brothers. It was the king and queen of Portugal and Spain. The Spanish Inquisition was renamed the Transatlantic Slave Trade. The white folks are too fucking stupid. They didn't do, and they were the slaves in America, not us. We were prisoners of war. Do you understand what I'm talking about when I say prisoners of war? It was a Christian-Jew war. They wanted all, and the Muslim, they wanted all of the wealth that the Jews, our ancestors, created. And they got it. And they sent hundreds, if not millions of people, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, to West Africa. And those weren't, the people who got on that boat weren't African. 95% of those people were black European Jews. Black. Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand and the king and queen of Portugal, these were black people. It was a Christian war upon the souls of Jews. West Africa was known as Negroland. Negroland was the name that was taken by the chief rabbi of Portugal, better known in that village called Negro Village. In 1619, two African people whose last name was Negro were Portuguese Spanish Jews. They weren't African. How can that be? Virginia was the first state in America at that time forbid black people from taking and buying white folks. They weren't white at that point. So you really gotta, and I'm not gonna go into it all of that, but you really gotta understand history and what the fuck happened. George Washington was the first president of the United States of America. Under the U.S. Constitution, we had 4 presidents before under the Articles of the Confederation who were black. Pulaski and the first, second, and third Congresses were black men. To be white at that point, my people, listen. To be white at that point meant that black people were white. It had nothing to do with a fucking color. It had everything to do with your privilege of being wealthy and a land aristocrat. That's it. The white skin part didn't come until later. I'll be right back. Let's listen to this.
Has an interesting take on why America is where it is right now as a country, and he connects it with white supremacy. Watch this clip, we'll come back and discuss.
You know, you invade our country, ruin our neighborhoods up, and try to realize maybe we're the bad guys. So, you know, coming back home, getting off the Kool-Aid and realizing what my country really is, which is a place where white supremacy has never been held accountable. White supremacy is the root of this whole thing. It's never been held accountable. There's never been a time where we corrected the wrongs of white supremacy. And so we're taught from a young age to put our hand on our heart.
He couldn't be more clear. He believes America is in the position that America is in right now is because white supremacy was never checked. And the driving force of the country was actually preserving itself. And its belief, or at least the leaders' belief, of rolling over the world and pushing their own narrative and pushing their supremacy on others. They go and invade a country because they believe that they're entitled to whatever is there. They recruit their own people, the soldiers that they recruit, in a predatory manner. They tell them that they'll give them all these things, as he said, socialism. They push socialism to the soldiers, but then they send them off to defend capitalism.
We offer our soldiers socialism to go abroad and defend capitalism. And I was too poor to say no. I was in the Army from 2001 to 2014, served in Iraq and Afghanistan.
And in his personal experience, the more he saw what's going on, the more he detached himself, the more he couldn't really do what he was supposed to do. And that's a man with a conscience. And not a lot of people can say that. Although we've seen a lot of former soldiers with PTSD. They go out there, they serve their country, they believe that they're doing the right thing, they're being patriotic. They literally sacrifice their lives, and then they understand eventually that what they were doing is wrong, what they were doing in other countries was wrong, most importantly because of the lies that they were told, the propaganda that was pushed on them, and they come back home with a lot of issues. They can't comprehend, they can't understand why they did what they did just because someone packaged it as protecting the sovereignty of your country, as you being patriotic. But then when they realized that they were unaliving innocent people, they were actually there for a different reason than what they were told, they get messed up and they don't know how to cope with that. And after they're back, they're not even protected. They're not even taken care of. We see a lot of stories coming out of the United States of America, their own soldiers that served their country, believing that they're standing for what is right. They are on the streets. They don't have support. They don't have medical. They're not really taken care of after the fact, and they end up homeless and they suffer and they don't know how to get out of the situation that they have put themselves in. And this man really put it in a perfect way where people can understand from the perspective of the army, the actual human beings that are given guns, that are given ammunition to go to other countries and fight someone else's battle, fight to take resources from those people that probably know that these soldiers are coming here to defend us, to protect us. Because if you've noticed, in a lot of this foreign intervention or foreign troops being sent to other lands, foreign lands, they are almost welcome. They're given a huge land to use their base. They are given special privileges, and then eventually after years go by, the people wake up and realize, oh my goodness, we actually sold ourselves, we actually did not benefit from this relationship, it actually hurt us and our people. So that's the conversation we've been having for the longest time, but then it's interesting to hear from someone that went to war on behalf of the US and his regrets and what he's learned. Anyways, let us know down below what your thoughts are about what this former US soldier has to say about the US Army. I'm Angel Zalalam. I'll see you on the next one.
Now, this is my buddy right here. Now, I don't know him personally, but I really like his show. He really gets into the meat and bones of white supremacy and revealing it for what it is. It ain't shit. They huffing and puffing and it ain't got shit. Like I've always said, all white folks, just slap the shit out of them, that's all. They'll shut the fuck up and sit down. You know what I mean? You know, I can't stomach these motherfuckers no more. I'm done. And to be honest with you, I can't wait for Piers Morgan, what his name is. This motherfucker and everybody else. They're not gonna call me. Because they know their asses is out when I'm on their show. I tell you, I ain't gonna be slicing and dicing. They wouldn't know if they would not know when I cut their throat because their head would hit the floor and their head would turn back and look like, what the fuck happened? It'll be just that motherfucking quick. Because you can't play with these motherfuckers. You just can't. They are worthless. They're like flies landing on shit, having babies and shit. They have nothing but the stolen identity and culture of us. We're like bees, always productive, always producing honey, always pollinating other plants and species and whatever the case, and working. And they don't do shit. All they do is talk shit and eat shit, lay in shit, sleep in shit. So why, why would a bee waste time trying to talk to a fly that like to eat shit and turn around and say, hey buddy, honey tastes better than shit? They're not going to ever understand. Let go.
Oh my goodness. So I say 10 toes down when I talk about it's a little bit difficult to be racist on an empty stomach.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Oh!
You're seeing millions of white ignorants experiencing that, right? The EBT cards being declined. They got like 3 little ignorants running around the house. They don't know what to do. Almost, on par with idiocracy.
I'm pregnant again.
Too many damn kids.
The obviously clear, solution would be to not be racist. Okay, that would be the solution. Hey, I'm not going to be racist anymore, and we're going to try and build this country, together, for all of us, right? So that we can all benefit. That would be the obvious solution. But unfortunately, what the Republican Party has done to many white people is that they've made them into victims.
You're the victim.
And because they're ignorant, right? They don't, 1 + 1 not knowing. They think 1 + 1 = mayonnaise. They are easily swayed. They're easily persuaded into believing that they're victims. And who is doing the victimizing? It's not the white elites who have, put them into recessions, put them into depression, who have, taken their money via interest, who have done a litany of things to harm the white middle class. These white ignorants. No. Who's the bad guy? We are black people, brown people. That's who's taking the money. That's why we have to raise, the prices. That's why everything is so exorbitantly high. It's not because of our greed. No, it's because of them. And because, they, 1 + 1 = money. They're like, okay, let's go get them.
The blinders that were first prey.
And that's where we are in present day. Is that this victimhood has caused them now to go into really embarrassing, dark areas of racism. Well, they're not even racist anymore. Okay, they lost their title of racist. They're just dumb. They, instead of getting an actual job and lifting themselves up by the bootstraps as they want everyone else to do,
Well, what they decided to do is try and profit off of their racism. Is that they believe that there's enough white ignorance in this world that they can make a killing, right? They can rob the bank and get away with it. Simply off of saying, woe is me, I'm white, and anti-white racism is real. That's what they've done. And this all starts, just so we're clear, it started with Shiloh Hendricks. Now, if you all remember Shiloh Hendricks, Shiloh Hendricks was a trailer trash chick. All of the stereotypes that they label for black women, that's what she is. Every accusation is a confession. Single mother, looking like trash, eating government cheese, just very promiscuous, just trash. That's what this person is, just a drag of society. And to make it worse is that she's racist trash. It's very fascinating how those two often go hand in hand. Like, racist and poor. It's very interesting when it comes to white ignorance. When you see, a rich white person, they may have their prejudices and stuff like that, but if that black person can make the money, they'll shake their hand, they'll make an agreement, they'll sign the contract. That's what they'll do. The white ignorant, the poor white ignorant, they don't think that way. They can be living in filth and see a rich black person in the God and be like, N-word. And to them, because that's how they've been programmed and conditioned, that's a W for them. Them being in trailer parks, eating rats and stuff like that, and defecating, in plastic bags, that's a win to them. Why? It's not because of their standards of living, it's because there's no black people around them. Damn. So that being said, when many of the white ignorant saw Shiloh Hendricks, right, who was a reflection of them, getting almost $1 million, makes you raise like $700K, simply for calling a black child an N-word. Well, they're like, I can do that. I can call black kids N-word all the time. I want $1 million, and that's where this all began. Now we're starting to see more and more of this, and it'll probably incline as the economic situation gets worse. So we had, not too long ago, the person walking around in a Nazi uniform. Like, okay, but why do they walk around in a Nazi uniform? So they can be lambasted, so they can be ridiculed, so they can be right? Now, what happens to that person? He's trying to raise, I think it's like $100K. $100K, he's raised $24K. Okay, right? Now that funnels other people to go out and do the same thing. If you all remember the couple, when Kanye came out with the Hitler song and they were singing the song, they started saying, we're being attacked, we're being targeted. What did they try to do? They tried to raise $80K. Now that obviously failed, they unpublished the Gibson Go. But most recently, we had another ignorant. We had this dude with a mustache, a porn-star mustache, going around harassing black people who parked in, I don't know, a non-parking zone or something. I don't know how that negatively impacts his life. But he went around calling them N-words and everything. And the only reason he did that is because he had a gun. This is something I always find hilarious. The reason why, in my opinion, the theory I have when it comes to white ignorance and their guns is that it's the only thing that levels the playing field for them. Because many of them are physically inferior. And what I mean by inferior, I don't mean that they're born that way. I mean, an argument could be made, but I just mean that they're not, when you think of a man, they're not it. Hey, when you think of the stereotypical man and masculinity, they are never the representation. As I said before, many of them are usually overweight, or many of them are very frail and scrawny and skinny. They desperately hold on to what they believe is masculinity. And one thing that levels the playing field is that gun. So they bring out that gun, and now the black man who is physically, is superior to this racist ignorant, now it levels the playing field. Now he's like, well, now you do what I want you to do. And it makes them feel good about themselves. It makes them feel good about their inferior position in this country, on the planet, to be honest with you.
He's out of line, but he's right.
So that's what he does. He has a gun, and he lets them know he has a gun and say, oh yeah, go ahead and do something. Come do something. Come do something. Yeah. That's locked up. This is what gives him this courage. Now, ironic enough, apparently he was getting messages when people were like, well, I have guns too. And that's why they're in such panic. Because they want to have guns, but they don't want, if they could, you have to understand, if they could, all the hoops and struggles they try to get to make people to get the gun, that's mainly for black people. Because they want to have that advantage, because they don't have the physical advantage. Alright, they don't have the mental advantage. They don't have any advantage other than the fact that they are more inclined and they have a predisposition to let go of their humanity to get what they want. That's really the only advantage that many of these races have. That they have the ability to not see you as a human. They'll see you as chat to get what they want. They have the ability of not seeing, Palestinians as children. They have the ability to weaponize their image and see them as, well, they're terrorists. And, we don't negotiate with terrorists. And that's what enables them to do such wicked behavior. As the scripture says, they come here to kill, steal, and destroy. That being said, this individual started getting, some threats as he was threatening these people. And now he's, what happens with every racist. Oh, I didn't even let them die. Oh, it was just a joke. And he's adding the FBI. He's like, well, FBI, come and help me, please, please. And that's, once you start to see that many of these racists are nothing but cowards, the jig is up. The whole concept of calling us, you tripping out and all that, you're going to be racist regardless. Whether you're in the hospital or whether you're 6 feet under, you're going to be racist regardless. So it makes no difference to us. That is the current state of many races, of many white male races. And it's, like I said in the beginning, it's embarrassing. Because these are the same people talking about, we were Vikings, we were civilization builders, we're doing this. And now it's come to the point where they're trying to grip up racism. They just can't be racist and be proud, right? Back in the day, the racists didn't need to video record, hey, I'm going to call this guy an N-word, okay? I may lose my job, but that's a sacrifice we've got to make, white people. This is what they've succumbed to do. To go around and harass people in hopes of being a victim, being seen as a victim by other races, and getting financial support. I don't know, man. I think that's a sad state for many, for many to be in. I think white men, okay, the chads out there, I think you need to take them under your wing. I really do, okay? Because if they're racist, it's only going to be you who's going to be able to get that racism out of them. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'll help the incels. Black men, we're working on the incels, okay? We're adopting the white incels to make sure that our children are safe in schools, okay? That's a win-win. It's a win-win. So we're going to need white men, okay? If you're successful, if you've got a woman, you have a family, we're going to need you to, pick up your part of the workload, all right? You're going to need to reach these dudes out there who don't have any living, don't have any, know nothing about nothing, who are trying to use gifts and go as a means of financial stability. You've got to reach these people, and help them. Let them know that, hey, you don't have to, do videos of you being racist and stuff like that to get money. Hey, let me give you an internship here, right? let me help you out. I want that at BC, funds. Let me see if we can get you to wipe the floors, or to answer calls, something, right? Just to help them. So I think that's one way to come together, because this is kind of pathetic. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not okay? We are victims, all right? And we have every right to tell you guys inward and make a profit from it. I feel you, but you're really just going to destroy your livelihood. Lower your image in the workforce to get what? 20K? To get what? Are you serious? I think we need a better group of races. All right, that's what I think. I think we need a better group of races. Not that I want to enable races or anything. I'm just like, this isn't racism. This is like struggle racism. Yeah, I feel bad for you. Like, I'm trying to give y'all advice on how to be better racists, and that's where we have to draw the line. All right, where you have black people trying to listen. Maybe the N-word is kind of played out. Maybe y'all should do something different. Maybe y'all should do. I know the tuna cans and the mayonnaise. I understand. I know you want to eat that. This isn't going to work, right? It's just not. You're not going to get any money from that. Maybe we can collaborate and, we go, 50-50, 60-40, we'll figure something out. Otherwise, if you have something to disagree, where to find me, disagree with me. Thursday through Saturday, disagree day, call them, duke it out, where to find me. Otherwise, I hope you guys are going to see it. If you just click a like, share, comment, let me know what you guys think, and subscribe, and all that fun stuff. So next time, guys, be amazing.
All right, excuse my little kid for crying here, but This is what it's coming down to, you guys. I mean, white folks ain't shit. I can say this a million and billion one more time. They're just hoping that you continue to fall for their bullshit. But once you stop and turn your back on them like we're doing now and delineating, it becomes, Domingo, it becomes passe. Because in reality, the only people that count is us. In reality, the only person's voice that counts is us. That's it. Not white folk, not the Chinese, not the Japanese, not the Arabs, or whatever the case may be. It's us. We run this shit. Don't ever forget that shit. So now we're going right to America's most protected criminals. The world's most protected criminals. These motherfuckers are criminal-minded. They have nothing else to do but to fuck around and find out fucking kids in the ass, giving old black panda eyes, raping and killing them. There's a white boy, 18 years old, raped the shit out of 2 girls, white girls. Damn near killed one and damn near broke her neck and all of this. But that she had to do, she had to have serious surgery. The judge, the white judge, lady judge, woman judge, put him in the category of a youthful offender. Reducing the time that was on the docket for 80 years in prison, who've been tried as an adult, to that of a child. He's not a fucking child at 18, 19 years old. He knew what the fuck he was doing. But no, white privilege again. The family were highly upset. Why would the judge do this shit? Why? Because they are protecting these white motherfuckers who ain't shit. He served no time in jail. He got a 6-month probation. Laughing his way back home to a family that's well connected, I think in Wilmington. Utterly ridiculous. I'll be right back.
For Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like, he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into, like, 18-year-olds. But he liked the very young.
Hold on. Let me trip that back a little bit. Sorry about the noise.
He liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into, like, 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that is what I reliably was told for many years.
Right now, Trump and the Epstein files is the talk of the town. And seeing people shocked that Megyn Kelly was doing mental gymnastics to try and explain it away was shocking to me. Because this is nothing new. It's just the latest and most public display of white privilege in America doing what it's always done. Coddling white men's crimes and trying to sweep it under the rug.
So we're here.
Here he is.
There's a warrant for your arrest. We're going to take you to the jail. I told your mom that she can contact the bondsman, and you shouldn't be very long. But then just there's a process for paperwork and stuff. But right now you do have to come with us, and I do have to put you in handcuffs. So turn it out for me.
Stillwater, Oklahoma. That's where it was.
I'll get you all. Okay? Jason, Rick knows about this. He's on this. Dad's on his way. We're coming to get you, okay? Stay strong, okay? Say your prayers. Okay, so he's going to go right to the city store drill, and if you'll just contact her, then she does the photos line, she knows what to do. Yeah. Okay? Yeah, Water Police. Yeah. And when we say we are Stillwater PD, Stillwater PD. Okay. So you don't need to win that, so
See, this kind of treatment ain't just reserved for the president. Those officers showed up to that house, and she was talking like she was inconveniencing them, explaining herself and making sure she put the cuffs on as comfortable as possible. America has always caught a white crime, and they do it right in front of your face.
Go to the New York Post website. I want to show y'all how white people, white conservatives, what they do when somebody white, one of their own, does something. Oh, y'all gonna love this here. This right now is on the front page of the New York Post. Y'all gonna love this. Losing faith. They got a photo of Tyler smiling, a photo of him smiling with his mom and dad and his two brothers. Tyler Robinson was raised Mormon and allegedly killed Charlie Kirk moments after influencer praised the church. Now y'all know damn well, it's the same New York Post. Man, y'all scroll down, they will have, if somebody black kills somebody, oh my God, they are going to have all kind of crazy stuff. Let that go down. Y'all gonna see an article, cold-blooded maniac who cops say killed, burned elderly New York City couple inside their own home makes chilling admission. I hope y'all see this position. Y'all see this photo of the black guy who allegedly killed a white couple? Maniac who cops say killed, burned elderly New York City couple inside their own home makes chilling admission. But the murderous white guy, oh my God, he's losing faith. He lost his faith. This shows you how shameful and despicable these people are.
Come on now. This is par for the course. And if they do it on one level for Tyler Robinson, how'd you think they was going to react to the thug in chief when they treat this dude's actual crimes like entertainment on a reality show? If a black man had Trump's rap sheet, he wouldn't be running for office. He'd be checking in with his parole officer. And the sinister part of it all is these same white supremacists who coddle white crime consistently and try to act like it's not really as bad as it is, will spew lies about my people to make it seem like we're the ones that's overwhelmingly doing the dirt. But when you look at what's actually happening, especially the crimes that we're talking about with Epstein and Trump, it's not a question who the criminals are. And keep the stats, because the books is cooked. Trump can have 8 Venezuelans unalived on a boat, and you might never hear about it. But if you do, they'll just tell you that it's justified. So why we keep talking stats with the people that's making the rules?
White people. If crime statistics really mattered to us, we would be talking about white men every damn day. We as white people love to throw around statistics when it comes to the black community. We love to misconstrue data about poverty rates, crime rates, single-parent households. Here's the thing. If you really want to talk about problematic behavior in terms of statistics, we need to talk about white men. Most mass shootings in America, white men. School shootings, white men. Intimate partner violence, typically known as domestic violence, white men. Police brutality and systemic violence, white men. Online harassment and extremism, white men. Domestic terrorism, white men. Serial killers, white men. The demographic making up the vast majority of CEOs, judges, senators, and police chiefs who refuse to hold white men responsible, white men. And yet that's what men are really talked about as being a problem. Few white people are asking, what's wrong with white men? What's wrong with the culture? Few white men are demanding that we be fixed. And why? Because we as white men humanize and individualize white violent offenders. And it's time to flip the script. The shame and blame, because I know white males are incredibly fragile when it comes to that. But instead to name what's really going on and who continues to be protected and not held accountable because of selective storytelling.
This shit twisted and crazy. You got people making the Epstein files about Democrat and Republican, left and right. We talking about kids getting violated and y'all talking politics.
But that's not what anybody can definitively associate the president with. He knew Epstein, so did Bill Clinton. So did a plethora of other famous people inside and outside the world of politics. Incriminating emails, or what specifically at House was it? And when we sit up there as Democrats and we're applauding on the House floor, now that Alita Grijalva was there talking about she'll be the final vote to sit up there and open the Epstein file, and everybody's applauding for the Democratic Party. Ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that the Epstein files were in existence and FRIDA has been open during the Biden administration. You were there for 4 years. How come you didn't open it as the Democratic Party then? What am I missing? I'm not saying I know. It's a legitimate question. Maybe I don't remember the answer. Maybe my extraordinary producers should be able to help me during the commercial break. But from my understanding, the same files that were open or being open now with the 220 pages of documents or whatever it is, with various emails, that could have been done when Biden was in office. Well, why didn't you do it? If it's so important there. What were the Democrats doing at that particular moment of time?
This man Stephen A. done stooped to a new level, running defense for Donald Trump like he the old Three Pistons, sanitizing this man's white crime like he a can of Lysol. And I'm gonna end it with this. I don't care how you feel about the man. If Barack Obama was even suspected to be in the Epstein files while he was commander-in-chief,
Well, he is.
you might have witnessed the first president to get the firing squad. Now,
my people are so smart. And you know what else they say about my people? The polls. They say, I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
Hold on. I gotta send it to Stephen A. Hold on. All right, I got that out. So now, look. By now, we should know. not to fucking pay attention to white folk talking about a motherfucking thing. We've been playing spades with these motherfuckers since day one. Now the trick is, they done tricked us into believing they have all the spades. We don't have any spades. When in fact, we have all the spades. Case closed. I'll be right back.
Like, that's the only thing that I see.
Let me start from the beginning.
Sports that are dominated by African Americans, quit going to Mexican restaurants. You want white culture, you go and live in it. You live in it, bathe in it. Like, that's the only thing that I see when you get all white people together in the United States. There's no culture at all, so they have to go borrow culture from people. Even the word woke, they borrowed from Black culture. I went to a Mexican restaurant with my parents, my son, my husband over the weekend. And there's just all these MAGA-looking people in there. And I thought, you've got a lot of nerve coming in here. Coming into this Mexican restaurant where every single waiter, obviously English was their second language, served with a smile. They run a great little local business. And Oklahoma City is a better place because of these hard-working immigrants that come in here. But I cannot imagine the horror they feel when they are driving to and from work, when they might have a hearing on their legal status. I can't imagine the people who've already been taken from their wives. And to see these fat, pink arm, teeny weeny, beta pricks with their ugly wives walk into this Mexican restaurant and sit down, smile, and be friendly. I don't think you should be able to enjoy anything but Cracker Barrel. Get your backs over to Cracker Barrel, but do not participate in any of this that makes America cool. And what makes America cool is multiculturalism. And if you want to triple Trump, and you want to browbeat DEI, and you want to browbeat gay people, and you want to browbeat Black people, as you've been doing for 400 years, and you want to browbeat this generation of immigrants that come over here and open up businesses earnestly, pay their taxes, you want to demonize them and call them rape and felons and all the, when the felon is the teeny weeny mushroom piece of Kinko's McTaco tits at the top of the ticket. I have had it from top to bottom. White people that triple Trump should be banned, boycotted from enjoying the best thing that America has to offer, which is multiculturalism. Get your fat out of the Mexican restaurant. Get your fat over to Cracker Barrel, because nobody wants to see your smug, teeny weeny, pink arm, big gut around. Nobody wants to see that. No one. Quit watching NBA basketball. Quit watching.
Wow, guys. She said a whole lot right there. I saw this clip that's been popping up on my newsfeed lately, and it's by I've Had It podcast. And there's two young ladies on here, Jennifer Welch and Angie. I'm not sure if they're located in OKC, but that's what she was just getting at. But this is an interesting conversation to be had, right? And when we talk about America, and I've covered something similar to this in the past in reference to, I forgot the guy's name, he's a pastor, right-wing, extreme right-wing pastor, where he talks about Black folks should be thankful or grateful for slavery. You're welcome, no reparations, so on and so forth. But this is one of those ladies that the right would call, she's bringing about white guilt, white liberal tears, for lack of a better term, and championing, I can't talk this morning, man. She's championing, I'm just going to leave that word alone because it's going to read my mouth.
Hold on.
Black folks and non-white folks in this video here, which a lot of people are going to have issues with, you feel me? But when we think about it, because I have an opinion on this, right? And and you could talk about white folks or white Anglo-Saxon Protestants and all these white folks. They have domesticated and or civilized the world, for lack of a better term, through colonialism, yada yada yada. But when we talk about America, all of the really great things about America and America being the entertainment capital of the world, when we talk about America being the greatest country on earth, this is the place where you get new beginnings, new starts, and that is all due to colonialism to start off with, and basically slavery. Where would we be without slavery in America? There would be in America. We get it. Where would we be without black folks in America? There would be no America, right? Now, we had this conversation a while ago, and I remember the Duke, shout out to my homie, O'Shea Duke Jackson, and I brought this up when I interviewed him. If white folks were just to up and leave America, what would happen to America? And it would say black folks would destroy America, right? Or this country would be jacked up. And vice versa. What if all black folks were to leave America after the Emancipation Proclamation and all black folks were free, right? America would not be what it is. Even though pretty much everybody who, because there would have been another class of people that would have came here. Would that have been Indians? Would that have been Hispanics that came here and became the black folks at this point? Who knows? But history is what history is at this point, and that's what we need to think about. But America just wouldn't be America without the fabric of black folks who built it, right? When it comes to America being able to produce or mass produce or able to outwork, and I'm saying that in terms of being able to conquer any country on this earth, is due to black folks. When we talk about Hollywood, when we talk about entertainment, when we talk about beauty, when we talk about fashion, when we talk about all these things that make life great, it's because of black folks, right? And I've had this conversation in reference to sometimes you see, even though black folks obviously patronize Mexican restaurants, but you'll see some white folks, is what she's talking about, sitting up in there because they enjoy the food. White folks typically enjoy other cultures' food. It's a no-brainer. It's definitely a no-brainer, even though you have some of the best cuisine in the world is supposed to be Italian and French, right? When we get into it. But this is one of those things where, how do you know that these people, you don't know these people personally when they come up in there, if they're MAGA and if they're this way and that way. And for her to say all of these pink, she's calling out some things, and I'm pretty sure that's why their channel is pretty popular, because of this. I just find that this world, when we really think about it, because people try to say slavery was a necessary evil, wouldn't have been able to do a lot of things. But if you believe in alternate realities and things like that, if only we had a device to see how things would turn out. And maybe there is a multiverse out there where black folks were never enslaved. Maybe there is a world where Germany took over America. Germany took over the world, excuse me. Maybe there is a world where Japanese conquered the world. Maybe there is a world where Genghis Khan and, was it Mongolian or whatever? Maybe it is a world where he dominated the world, or Indians did. Maybe there are different versions of reality where these things actually happen. Just imagine. But we're in a small part of this timeline where white people do run the world. It's just a small point in time. And it wasn't always like that when you think about the history of white folks. Was it 2,000 years or was it 8,000 years? I can't remember exactly. 2,000 to 3,000 years of white history or whatever have you. Definitely can't be 2,000, as Jesus was 2,000 years, right? Yeah. But we got another clip we're going to play by her that she talks about some other things. So let's go ahead and jump into that clip, guys. Let's go.
The triple trumper white women, yeah. If you want to be in the golden age, then I want you to give up a credit card in your name. I want you to give up the bank account in your name. And I want you to be completely beholden to a man. I don't want you to work. I want you to stay home and make cornflakes from scratch for that. But I agree, and I think they should probably have to give a couple of bullets today too. I think that's fair, yeah. But there is no culture in white America except for dump truck, life church visits and Bible studies, combined with going to the shooting range and then watching Fox News and being a piece of shit. That's what American culture has come to in white America. I personally, my life, when I'm around a bunch of just white women at a lunch, I avoid those things like the plague because it bores me to tears. There's no substance. Nobody talks about anything interesting. It's demeaning people. It's gossiping behind people's back. And I just am not that interested in that. I'm not that interested in that. But when I go out with my gay friends, when I go out with my black girlfriends that I've met through my son's basketball, there's just a lot more meat on the bones. White people are dreadfully boring. What has saved us from the lack of culture in America is our multiculturalism. And I enjoy very much experiencing black culture, Latino culture, Asian culture. As an American, I enjoy those cultures very much because they've integrated into our culture.
I can definitely agree with her on that part when you really think about it, right? And when she's saying this, I believe she's just talking about straight American, white American culture, not
They don't have a culture, cuz.
Russian, Spaniard, Italian, German, whatever, yada, yada, yada. When we just talk about strictly those who've been here, whose family lineage can trace back for 100 years or so here in America. There really isn't a culture, and even other Africans, they talk about black folks not having culture, but we are the culture of the world. I'm talking about black Americans. We are the culture of the world. And it is that. Now, there was something where there was another video many years ago where they say white folks steal different things from other people because they don't have culture. And I'm not going to get into the whole soul part, but that's when we talk about souls and things like that, but that was used as well. But it makes you wonder sometimes because people will say, well, white folks don't mind their business. They're always in someone else's business. They're always trying to get into other people's business. And maybe that may be the colonial mindset of things. We're trying to get into other people's business or conquer or things like that. But I think there's some truth to a lot of what she said, because why else would you be going around the world getting up to do this? I don't understand that. And even when we get back to post-slavery, right, you see a lot of these things with the KKK, even in Germany and other things, just bothering people that's minding their own business, setting black folks' house on fire, burning crosses, going into their establishments, destroying it. It makes you wonder sometimes why these things were occurring. Why get to that point where you feel like you have to interject or involve yourself in someone else's culture or life? And I think what she's saying, some stuff that makes some sense there. So I think that's something for white folks to think about as well. What was the purpose for colonialism? Why not just stay with your own people in your own country? Why having to involve other people? So it's a strange dynamic, but that's the way things happen. When it comes to music, when it comes to food, when it comes to all these different things, it's like, we need to take this, we need to take this, we need to take this. I don't know. I wish I could see it from the lens of history about the motivations of why these things happened and why it came to this. But hey, anyway, let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Much blessings and abundance. Stick around for the next video that's going to pop up on the screen below. That's where I'm going to see you guys. That is your favorite everything. This is Wisdom. I'm the best. Let's run it up to 1 million. Quit playing with me. Peace.
Oh, okay. I can get rid of this. Hold on. I have to tell you, the total douche. Lord, I have ratioed multiple times. Well, goddamn. Andrew Tate? What the fuck? Alright, so we're gonna get out of here. This is the last video, but before I go, I just really wanted to concentrate on this tonight. Is that we gotta get past thinking about the worthless white folks. They're worthless. They're crying out. It's the last cries of white supremacy. They want attention. Don't give it to them. Turn your back on them. Delineate. Fuck them. Because they can't do without us, but we can do without them. It has been far too long that we have concentrated our attention on them and not on us. And I think our ancestors would be highly disappointed in knowing that we haven't given them the finger yet, as a whole. But now I think we are. We have delineated, we have come together and said, fuck you, white boy, white girl, you ain't shit. We are the shits. And we're going to be taking it out on you at every turn, of every baby that you have fed to alligator, crocodile, every white, black person that you guys have killed, raped, sodomized, blinded, all that. We're not going to forget. And woe be unto your ass, white boy. All of the hate that you have given throughout the centuries and the millennia, whatever the case may be, is coming back. Their chickens have come home to roost, and they are roasting. We're going to roast the shit out of you, and all you can do is go through the fire and hope that you last, motherfucker. But you're not going to last. I'll be right back.
Man, y'all been listening to Tim Tebow. He been speaking out about these evil white people, man. He exposing them left and right, bro. Check this out.
The number one offender type is biological fathers. But by far, it is being done by middle-aged Caucasian men. Over half of them college graduates. Many of them are educated, good jobs. This isn't just who we're thinking about. Like they're technical savvy, and I think that this time that we call them out, like that we can't stand by and stand back. Like we have to stand up and say, not only are we not doing our job as men, it's actually the opposite. Instead of being defenders and protectors of our families, we're hurting and abusing.
And this is how you know there's a distinction between the evil, racist whites and the ones that's not evil and racist. Because you would have them speaking out on the injustices and the wrong that's going on. Evil racist white, he ain't gonna speak on no evil. Check this out. Blacks. The white people, there is no blacks. Really, blacks on an island come back 1,000 years later, and they were very more the ants to achieve anything other than what you left to do. You put white people on an island, and before the 1,000 years is up, the earth owns the land. And they'll visit you. Thank you for the comment. You see how the guy on the right, he ain't even correct him or nothing. He ain't even say, oh, you shouldn't think like that, man, and he ain't correct him at all. These people, they on one accord with each other. A lot of them think of us as peasants. They think that we're the scum of the earth. They think that we're not intelligent. They think that we animals and stuff like that, y'all. I'm telling you. It's this movie called Goodbye, Uncle Tom. Y'all look up that movie, y'all. Check this other clip out by Tim Tebow. Watch this. He's speaking out. Check this out. They mad. They mad at Tim Tebow. Watch this, y'all.
Every red dot on that map is at least one unique IP address of individuals downloading, sharing, distributing
child abuse images under the age of 12. And there's over 111,000 of them just in the U.S. of the last 30 days. Sean, it's right here in our backyard. 55 to 85% are also hands-on offenders, and your average offender has 13 victims in their lifetime. 13 victims. So one of our hearts is to get the Renewed Hope Act passed through Congress, because it takes the law enforcement officers right now and victim identification officers, there's 7 of them. It was how many? 7. 7 people to, yes, they want to get the Renewed Hope Act passed because it would take it from 7 to 200. And now we have a much greater chance if we have all of those officers that are trained and equipped to be fighting against this evil. And again, that's the last 30 days.
He don't even understand a lot of the people he's fighting against. Them same type of people, they haven't been caught yet. And he going to the same type of people he fighting against. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't got that background with the PDF mark on their house and all of that stuff. A lot of them is in high places and they haven't been caught yet. And that's something that he don't even realize. So them people that he fighting against, he going to talking to them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those people who was abused growing up, man, they getting older now and they know like, dang, yo, all my people are wicked. And they did this to me when I was young. They did this to me when I was young. They speaking out, y'all. I'm telling you.
My name's Kelsey Zazanis. I am a survivor of a child. I was raised by a serial child rapist. I'm also a survivor of child. Today I'm going to be telling the story of my childhood, being raised by a child, the aftermath of that, what surviving it looked like, how it impacted me through adulthood. I want to recount it and
In other words, white folk are fucked up. I don't know if you remember, because I did cover this in quite a few or 1 or 2 videos before, that at the height of the Ku Klux Klan, which was in the 1920s, after the movie came out, what was the name of that movie? About the Ku Klux Klan. I can't remember the name of that damn movie. But you probably know what I'm talking about. The reason why, and you had Ku Klux Klan at every level, federal, state, local, city, bathroom, you know what I mean? And they were just up and up and up, and they would get members coming in. Do you know what destroyed them? They were raping their own women and children.
as much detail as my memory has. I have a pretty vivid memory, so there might be some graphic depictions of child and other sensitive topics, and I just want anyone listening to listen at their own discretion, and just be prepared.
Listen, there was a statistic done about law enforcement, people at city council, lawyers, and all of them. Those are the people that be doing a lot of evil in their houses, y'all. And they know who each other is behind closed doors. But the good people that's in these high places, they don't speak out because they in fear of losing their job. They're in fear of losing their career, so that's why they don't speak out on the injustices that's going on, that they know what's going on. When they get in their locker rooms, like some police officers, they get in the locker room and all of that stuff, they be telling their stories of how they booked this person, and, how they booked that person and punched this person in the face and all of that. But I'm telling you, some of them speak out. Check this out.
14 police officers were terminated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 resigned under investigation. And then there's appeals. And you know what you do? You strip my funding. Are you going to pay the attorney all the money that I already owe them for the bad cops that the civil service board, where we're going to be here tomorrow, and none of y'all going to be here. And y'all think we're trying to deal with these people's emotions, and some of y'all the problem. Jen Rocker, you sit there, defund the police department's budget from a legal standpoint, and then come here because I don't have legal representation and I got to play lawyer to fight these bad actors. Let's talk facts. And then what you do? Then you go and you appoint people to the Civil Service Board and have direct ties to the union. There are 5 people on the Civil Service Board. What's wrong with good law-abiding citizens? You putting people on the Civil Service Board with direct ties to the union and wonder why they reverse the decisions that I make. I've been quiet, but I'm not going to be quiet no more. Where were you when they called my kids gangbangers? Where were you? You know about the pictures when they called my black boys gangbangers, and I prayed for them. When the former chiefs of police sit down and share pictures of me and my girlfriend, and I prayed for them. Where were you, Mocha? When they went to Texas, to the camp, and called me because I was trying to bring reform in this police department. Where were you then, speaking up for them? Don't sit here and play like you don't know about this group of bodies that try to force the mayor to sit there and fire me for lies and say I only discipline white folks, which is a lie. Don't pretend like you don't know that. Don't pretend like you don't know that. I'm talking about my little black kids, and I prayed for y'all.
You think they care about what that man talking about?
Yeah,
man, they probably sitting up there on that podium laughing inside because they know they got the power to do whatever it is they want to do and get away with everything. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man.
Hold on, let me look for one more thing, because I did promise you guys this somewhat kind of a movie. Hold on. Sword Nation. Okay. There's 2 of them. Okay, so we're going to play both. And it's not very long, but we're going to play both.
Where are we supposed to go?
Back to where you began. The Caucasus Mountains. Build something better there. You are ordered to evacuate peacefully. The mountains await your rebuilding.
The mountains rough, boy.
We're dealing with.
These are troglodytes we're dealing with. Yes, sir. Live the lie.
Jason said we gotta leave tonight. They're taking us to the mountains. Tell them we're family. I don't want to have a Caucasus Mountain. I want to stay here.
All Caucasoid partners report to processing.
Caucasoid partners report to processing. Repeating.
Take my family. You can't decide who I love. Move them now.
You leave tonight to the Caucasus.
Every American citizen of European descent will be relocated.
They can't really do this, can they?
For the sake of this nation, they will go. And they will endure.
They're sending us to freeze.
Then we don't freeze. We survive.
We never met no fun. Then you should have said something when harm was done.
Yes, sir. You should have said something. No, not said. You should have been killing the bad one. Stupid motherfuckers. There's no good white folks.
Where are we supposed to go?
Back to where you began. The Caucasus Mountains.
That one, and I think it's the same one.
Where are we supposed to go?
Back to where
Yeah,
you
it's
began.
the same one.
The Caucasus.
So now you got the real deal, you guys. And I'm just going to end it with the fuck all white folks. And for the next 24/7, 365, stay black. Peace out, and see you guys Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. And every Saturday night we are here as well. So just remember, stay black. And press the, share, like, and subscribe. And click the icon bell so you know when the next show will be, alright? For the next 24/7, 365, stay black.